Wonderful. We are live. We are here. That is exciting. It's working. Oh, thank God it's working. um, First off, welcome to a very special stream today. I have our two co-founders, Dave and Justin, joining me for a special episode of Idle Insights and a Idle Champions year in review and developer Q&A. So if you have questions, now is definitely the time to ask. For a shout out, of course, to our lovely moderators, Jay and Sasha, for taking on this wonderful day of streaming. Thank you very much to Mars for passing off the torch today. And without further ado, let's get to it. Idle Champions in 2020. It's been a big year. It's been a big year for Idle Champions as well. For just to name a few things that have happened in Idle Champions this year, we've had offline progress, leaving early access, launching on Switch, Modron automation, multi-party mode, a new patron, lots of things. What's
Time
next?
gate rework.
Time gate rework.
Was that even this year?
That was this year. That was this year. That happened.
It's 11 months ago.
11 months ago.
It happened, earlier this year before COVID, like 20, 30 months ago, I guess.
Yes.
Feels
Definitely.
like forever.
It was. But welcome. I think I can start by saying that I'm sure that we have some questions about what's coming next. If there's going to be, like, when we'll have a third party, when we can have yet another Modron core. And I'm wondering if you can shed any light on that.
Sure. Yeah. Nothing super specific. I can tell you that we will have those things in 2021. That's the plan.
That is the plan.
At least I'm actually just putting together a blog post that will outline a bunch of stuff that's coming in 2021. It's one of the things I want to get done before the end of the week. But yeah, so we're looking at least one new patron in 2021. We're looking at least unlocking the third party for folks who can get through the very challenging adventure that we'll put in front of that. We're looking at least one new Modron core. We're looking at some new Modron functionality, new automation options. We can come up with some cool stuff. What else are we looking at? Some new Modron core features, probably. So a reason for players to get more flow than just 4 to every node. We're looking at, all the new events, new champions. We're looking at new Evergreen Champions. We're looking to wrap up the Descent into Avernus campaign. And that's just the stuff that's like live service that we do all the time. That doesn't even mention sort of major new features, which may or may not be coming in 2021.
May or may not be coming. What could you shed some light on what may or may not be coming in the new features?
I can definitely shed light on stuff that may or may not be coming because it's still very up in the air. But we are looking at, I guess the one thing I can say is we're looking at adding. How do we agree to describe it yesterday, Dave?
I don't know exactly how we tentatively just decided on how to describe this because it's we're not making any promises whatsoever.
No, asterisks, no promises. Hashtag no promises. That's the theme of this live stream.
All right, hashtag no promises. The new hashtag for this live stream. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we're I think the one thing that we are exploring is some very, very light asynchronous cooperative.
Don't say it.
Features.
Ooh. Some.
So
yeah.
So we'll see. We got some really cool ideas, and it's just a matter of getting them fleshed out and then finding the programmer time to do it.
Team time. That would be great if we could have some more of that, please.
Yeah.
But
in
the new year.
This year, the Modron automation and multi-party play, that took up a lot of time. and it kind of left us scrambling at the end of the year to try and catch up on bugs and get ahead on event champions and do all the normal stuff that we should probably be doing. So by the
if
time
you call all of Q4 end of the year, then yes.
Yeah, like the last 3 months just been like bugs and optimizations and trying to get everything into a good state heading into 2021 so that we can start to think about big features again. So I think it's also nice to give the team a bit of time to come down off of Modron automation and want to actually do major new features again, because I think by the time we got to the end of that one, everyone was like, "Oh God, please no."
That's a fair point. I think you can say that all the way from the dev team to the support team to the marketing team. That was
Art was pretty much the only people that were like, "Oh yeah, sure, new feature. I'll just draw some pipes, no problem."
Wonderful. Speaking of pipes, we have a request from Billy G2000 about a speed node for Core 3. That's something we could.
Yeah. That sounds like something we were looking at several speed options for future node or for future cores. Could be the third core, could be a different core, could be part of other features, who knows? But definitely that's one of the things we're looking at for Modron cores.
Awesome. So we have, of course, some requests for more evil champions. How do we feel about evil?
Oh, we love evil champions.
We love evil champions.
Have we talked at all about next week's
Beloth has been announced, yes.
Okay, yeah. So there's an evil champion coming out next week.
Absolutely.
Very evil.
Very evil.
Very, very morbid, if you will. Quite a bit of quite a fun champion in terms of just watching the world burn kind of thing. So
wonderful. It's really the champion we want to cap off the year with.
Of course. It's been that kind of year.
And also on Modrons, we have some requests from Giantdorf about some more healing love. There's the 2 hit point nodes active. The only meaningful healing that they're saying is River Celeste's ultimate, and if there's a way that we could sort of boost healing through Modron automation.
Yeah, I think so. There's also there's actually several champions that kind of increase healing. Like I was actually just doing all the soft cap work earlier this week and last week, and looking at all the champion abilities that we have in there, and there's at least one champion that increases is it Penelope, that just increases the amount of healing that champions receive, so that kind of helps with that as well. But yeah, I mean the healing balance is something that can be addressed through future balance changes, and Modron core nodes, so that's a way to do it too. Yeah, it could be pretty powerful.
And speaking of the soft cap increase that just happened, OG17 is asking if there's a list of newly added character upgrades that they could take a look at. And considering I haven't written it to put out, I think the list is only internal. But
for this one, I actually didn't even do a list. I basically put together. I do have a list of essentially the relative changes between the champions.
Right.
So whether or not one champion got sort of more support buffs than the average or more DPS buffs than the average. But I don't think we've made that public. It's certainly something that I'm sure the community will put together, and it'll be in the Well of Spoilers on Discord, or possibly posted on the Reddit or Steam forums, or all sorts of places.
All of the above.
Yeah.
They know things. So Loop 9Q is asking for a female evil champion, and I'm actually pleased to tell you that there are 2. Both Sasaspia and Lazaps are evil female champions, so they're available there. But
yeah,
how bad is our evil balance, Justin? How many champions do we have?
It's pretty bad. There's not we do a lot of work with content creators for many of our champions, and there's not a lot of content creators that play a lot of evil. I think maybe Joe might be our sole source of evil content creator champions, with Archon, Torgar, and Kroll.
We've also got Baloth for.
That's true. Yeah. Well, almost
soon, but yeah.
But yeah, there tend to be a lot of chaotic good.
I'm good, but I do what I want.
Way more chaotic good than anything
Yeah.
else. So yeah, anytime we get a chance to put an evil champion in there, we go for it. We go nuts for evil champions. So I know the last time, the last few CNE originals I think have been evil with Sasaskia and Zaps, and I don't know. We've got a lot of CNE original evil champions.
Yes, we like to fill them, use them to fill certain niches that are missing, or at least that's what I've been noticing. Oh, I've got a bit of a tough question from Green Samurai 23. They quite like this game, but they are finding that the end game is pretty stale. And they're wondering what will happen with all the new champions, if there's going to be more utility with a third party, or if we have any sort of tricks up our sleeve to address the grind of the end game.
Yeah, those are all things we want to address, or we want to at least try to address in 2021. So several of the things we're thinking about address the fact that players are starting to have tons and tons of champions, and they don't have a use for all of them. So that's one of the things we were trying to address with Modron animation, or multi-party play more than Modron animation, was letting people have something to do with their other champions. And so adding more parties should help with that. And then some of the other sort of features that we've danced around today.
Yeah, some of the stuff we were discussing yesterday around those designs actually would make us going to significantly reduce the staleness of the end game. So
yeah, so that's definitely one of our focuses for 2021 is end game.
Is that game?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So we have some more questions about our soft cap increase. First of all, if there's Alpha Carl is wondering how many soft cap increases are we planning for 2021?
That is a great question. So one of the big things that was standing in the way of the soft cap increase, and one of the reasons we didn't do it earlier in the year, was because the web versions of the game were still running with the classic E308 cap in place. And so one of our developers, Jacob, has been working tirelessly to get that fixed up in the WebGL, and we're happy to say that as of, I guess it's several weeks ago at this point, we rolled out a version of the WebGL version for web that no longer has that limitation, knock on wood. And and so that's the reason we did this soft cap increase as part of the year-end celebration. But we are planning on doing more of them at a higher rate. The other thing that was in place is it took a long time to do soft cap increases prior to this one, because we were doing them I was doing them manually calculating the upgrades and the differences and making sure the balance was still where we wanted it to be. And as part of this one, since we're up to 73 champions that I had to go through and do upgrades for, we've written several tools that should help that go a lot quicker. So instead of it taking 2 or 3 days to do a soft cap increase, we're going to try and only spend like a day putting in upgrades, and we can spend more time thinking about the balance instead of manual labor.
I mean, don't tell them you made it too easy, Justin. Otherwise, they're going to have no excuse. And it's like, why is there no soft cap update?
Well, I think it'd be great to get to a point where there is no excuse. We can just do them, because now that our numbers go up to, I don't even know with the large numbers, it's like E something we'll never ever reach kind of thing.
E many. And following up on the soft cap increase, we have a question from Giantdorf, and what is our expected games from this particular soft cap increase? The last one was a bit of a mitigation to balance our lack of changing the debuffs to no longer double dip.
Yeah, so on average, if a champion didn't have any balance changes applied to them, so they were just kept even relative to other champions, they got just a 4 times DPS increase, and support champions got an 8 times increase to their support abilities. And then certain champions that we wanted buffed more got a bigger DPS increase or a bigger support increase. So I think I don't have the specific numbers of like how much more DPS we expect you to do, but if you consider, 9 support champions and 1 DPS champion, you can kind of do like a ×4 and then ×8, 9 times if you're using kind of the most popular champions already. Or since other champions got more of a boost, you can try out some new ones at the new soft cap and see if there's some better combinations now. But in general, I would expect players to be able to get another 50 areas at least through the game. That's sort of what we balance soft cap increases around, though the player base tends to find really good combinations and go on another 100 areas in general, but 50 is kind of what we balance around.
So we're definitely going to hit that ban wall, right, Justin?
The old ban wall, yes.
Yes, and we have a follow-up question from Gamer Cabot, who's asking if we've changed the ban wall from area 1100.
We have, yes. The ban wall is now higher than 1100.
We have changed the ban wall. Please do not test the ban wall.
Well, first person to get to the ban wall gets to tell everyone what it is.
In general, unless there's an exploit of some sort or like a bug that we've put in that allows you to get that high, the ban wall is actually intended to be something that players can't reach. That's why it's a ban wall.
It's still worth
there to
letting
catch
people
your
know.
cheaters, your people who go into the. What was that?
I said it's still worth letting people know so we don't make more work for Sean.
Well, players should just not cheat at the game, and then they won't hit the ban wall. It's easy.
Okay.
Anyway, it's higher than 1100, and it's higher than 1200, and it's higher than 1300, and it's higher than 1400, and that's all I'll say.
All right. 40 Minutes is asking if you can explain the first line of our latest changelog and discussing the changes to always progress while offline.
What was the latest? What was the line? I didn't put the changelog together. Peter did that.
Oh God. Help. Let's pull that up.
Changelog. Nope, I'm not logged in.
We'll find that out.
Somebody in chat. Can you paste?
I got it.
Okay.
Actual line.
Change the way offline progress works so that if you have always progress while offline enabled, offline progress will move you to the highest area you've unlocked on that adventure playthrough before doing the auto progress.
I'm not sure. Dave, you have any insight into that one?
Yeah, just 1 second. I'm bringing it up. This is changes for 366. Is that what we're looking at? Change the way offline progress works. You have always progress while offline enabled. Offline progress will move you to the highest area you unlocked in that adventure's playthrough before doing the auto progress. I mean, it seems fairly straightforward. I actually didn't discuss this with Peter at all, so I don't know the inner details of why we were doing this, but this looks like this will mean that whatever your highest area that you have unlocked is, before it actually starts doing the progress for offline progress, it'll move you to that area, which is going to have some impact, I think, on sort of how much grinding gets done before it stops you. But it could very well reduce the amount of time that's spent in offline progress, which could make it quicker, as well as it could end up with it progressing further because it's not spending time in those areas.
Yeah, it seems like that would imply that previously, if you got up to like area 100 and then you went back to area 50 and you closed the game for a little while, long enough to trigger offline progress, and when you came back, it would progress from area 50.
Yeah, I mean, this would put it back in line with the way it would normally work if you loaded up the game, because that's where it's going to automatically, like, offline progress, or sorry, the auto progress is on, it's going to jump into the highest area. So.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Alpha Girl has a question about if we have plans for a third feed slot.
Yeah, I think that's probably something we'll do down the road. It really depends if we can find some interesting feats to add to champions. Because I think there's kind of a point right now where a lot of the champions, if you're using one as support, they only really have like 2 good support feats, and so adding a 3rd feat slot to them kind of makes them just it doesn't really add anything to them. You get 2 support feats, and then you can add a feat that increases their damage, which doesn't really do much for you. So I think and a 3rd feat slot would have to come along with some sort of interesting change to the feat system, or interesting feature added to the feat system, which could certainly happen.
Are we planning on changing the feed system?
I hashtag no promises.
Hashtag maybe. All right. Builder Kraken is asking if we're going to add new gem familiars anytime soon.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think definitely. I think as we increase the number of familiars that are able to be used by adding like new parties and new features that use familiars, then we will certainly add more gem familiars so that people who aren't paying can keep up to a degree. Yeah.
Cool. And there's some requests for some more high strength and high intelligence champions because we have certainly some challenging variants that will require them. So we can
keep that in mind.
Throw that into your mind for design things.
Yeah, I mean, whenever we get to, so obviously the stat blocks we have when we're working with content creators and folks is pretty restrained. We can't do much. We can tweak their stats from what they have in their character sheet, but we don't generally do massive changes. So it's generally the CNE originals that we kind of look at our available stats and go, oh, we should probably do more of this or more of that. So that's the opportunity we have to really move that dial. It doesn't come up too often. I think maybe only 2 or 3 or maybe 4 times a year.
All right. So Pukvi Feda is asking if there will be a text recap of this Q&A for those who cannot watch it, and there will not be a text recap, but it will be available as a VOD on our Twitch channel or on our YouTube channel. It will be uploaded there by tomorrow, and then also please look forward to Justin's Idle Champions Year in Review blog for some more fun spoilers.
Hashtag no promises.
Hashtag no promises? Okay. We'll see.
I'll try to get it done by Friday.
We'll see. Maybe. It might be year in review beginning next year.
Yeah.
No holidays till you finish the review, Justin.
Oh.
Okay. So Ragnar is asking, they've heard different answers over the year, but they would like some clarification regarding speed champs in background parties. Is it, are we ever planning on having some speed effects for them, or is it we'll keep them at 1 area per minute for the background party? Same as offline progress.
Justin just nods. He's like, yes.
I would like for them to affect offline progress, but it's a very challenging tech problem, and I have to convince the programmers on the team to.
Well, it's certainly a time balance, right? Depending on what we're working on that's a priority versus all of these individuals. Each individual speed champion's individual speed ability needs its own special case handling for the offline progress. So it becomes a special case for each one. So I mean, if we can find the time for it, there's not other priorities that are being prioritized, then it can be looked into. But it does start to become a problem where some of them work and some of them don't, and then then it becomes a big question of just actually having to check which ones you're using. So it would be nice if they all worked. I agree. Because I think some of them do work, right? I think like is Bruce working?
I feel like ones that just increase, like Shandy. I think Shandy might maybe do something.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know which ones work, but I think some of them do and some of them don't. And it's not ideal.
I know speed potions work.
Yes.
Andy. So OG17 has a question about high-end click damage and whether or not it's on our radar at all to influence or change, and if there's going to be some sort of scaling click damage cap, or if we're planning on reworking that, or...
Yes, that is something that's on our radar. The exact mechanism we're going to use to address it is not fully decided upon, but it may revolve around BUD. We may cap it based on your BUD. It was actually something we intended to do back when we released Modron automation and multi-party play, and then we forgot, and so we
that one slipped through the cracks, unfortunately.
There was a lot going on back in July.
There was a lot going on this year, really.
There still is.
Bunkers42 is asking about Ashara and Krond and Krull all being the same slot, and they're sort of lamenting this fact. Is there ever any plan to switch around champions in different slots?
So I floated the idea of all the champions playing musical chairs and going to new slots as part of a big balance update next year, and pretty much everyone in the office looked at me in horror. So I don't know if we'll do that. But I think that would be a pretty fun thing to do. It might completely it might be a very bad idea, but it might be a very good idea. So it is something that's on our radar to think about changing the bench slots that champions are in. It's not something that we can really do dynamically, or that we really want to do dynamically, because of the way that the costs are all set up. And I think the front end would throw a fit if we tried to have multiple champions from slot 1 in there. But it's something that's interesting to think about, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that actually would cause a problem. I heard it was by hero, like each individual champion has their own curves. I don't know if the front end would get bothered.
They have their own base cost and their own curves, and putting, like, say for example we took Archon and put him into bench slot 1, and then you reset your adventure, and suddenly you've got Archon there, but you can't actually use him until you get to, area 40 or 60 or whatever, based on your favor. he's just sitting there at level 1 with no formation abilities. So there's that kind of thing to think about for any sort of dynamic swapping around.
Right.
But yeah, Mox Pro there says a rearranged slot roster might make for an interesting variant.
Yes.
And I agree. It might make for an interesting variant. It's just a question of how we would go about setting that up such that we don't have the aforementioned problem with, you can't access Deacon because he's in slot 11, but he only costs 5 gold to get started. But you got to unlock slot 10 and 9 and 8 before you even get to him. So there's a bunch of sort of questions around that and balance questions around that as well, which are still, they're rolling around in my head.
Well, maybe we can get that all sorted out and we can run a test really early April.
Yeah.
Yes, there has been a suggestion on doing that for April Fools. Personally, I think that sounds like a lot of work for a prank, but it's never really been my forte.
Prank.
Okay. I'm not the boss, but I do have finger puppets.
You do have finger puppets.
You steal Eric's finger puppets?
No, so Eric bought a box, and they also sent us a box, so I got to unbox the new box on stream earlier. It's great. It's a great box.
So is it
very
up for
handy.
all of us, is what you're telling me?
No, you'll have to fight me for them.
I'll go get Eric. I'll get his finger puppets.
Okay.
I'll go duel.
Duel. Yeah, this one versus Creepy Clown.
Oh,
yeah.
that one makes noise.
Yes. Yes, it does. All right, we'll get to more questions. So there's been a request a couple times, and I'd love to bring it up again because I myself can also see the utility in this, and that would be to be able to save formations with feats enabled. So that, for example, if you save a Strahd feat, you'll be able to save your Zorbu with a +1 int, so that he's always eligible. Is that something that we'd ever consider doing, or?
Is that causing a problem right now when you go to load, like an automation? Is that what's happening?
I imagine you just wouldn't load that champion into the formation, and so you would. If Zorba was your main DPS and you were trying to automate to a high area, that would not work.
Yeah, I mean that feels like an oversight, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's something that we can look at. There's a lot of stuff that the formation save system should probably do that it's not doing. Like, for example, the saving the formation specs. Yeah, like OG17 is saying there, like the automation will reuse your formation specs when you load into the new one, but it's not really clear if manual formations do. I don't think they do. I think they were supposed to, but then... I
don't think they are supposed to. I think that was one of those things that came down to the advantage of using the Modron was that it provided you that functionality. Using the manuals did not. Because I distinctly remember actually writing that for the manual ones and then having to turn it off.
Yeah. I think there's opportunity there for some quality of life improvements to the manual formation system.
Okay. There we go. And speaking of feats, we have a request if we could have feats that change a champion's alignment. Like, we have them feats that change a stat. Is it possible to have feats that change an alignment?
I'm sure that's possible.
But will you allow it?
Will I allow it? See, I don't know. I'd have to chat with the wider sort of design team, and because there's certainly, like, changing, increasing intellect by 1 or increasing charisma by 1 is a rather minor change, but I do wonder if we'd have to check in with Joe before we make Archon neutral good. He might have an issue with that being applied to his character, so that's the only sort of caveat I would say with that kind of stuff. Is might be a little bit of work to check in with each content creator to make sure they're cool with their character's alignment changing.
Only see any originals then, maybe.
Yeah, there you go. Lawful good Krond.
Great.
He's back.
He's reformed. Master Bugger has a question about if we have plans for a magic attack-based tank, especially with Alcoria and her. Yeah.
No, I would love to do that. Alcoria, I'm just waiting for the day that we get enough magic using champions in there that players can just have a full Alcoria formation with, like, the speed up and the double cooldowns and all that. Like, when I was doing testing with Alcoria, I put together a full magic formation, and it's nuts to watch it go. Unfortunately, it's not necessarily the highest bud or DPS formation you'll ever get, but we're working towards it. We're going for it.
Is this part of the quest to make Delina the top DPS?
Delina is she not top DPS? What?
Back to the soft cap increase. More.
Yeah,
more.
Check out the soft cap increase. I mean, I think I gave Delina some pretty good upgrades.
Awesome. That sounds
maybe
fabulous. StarChaser43 is asking Justin and Dave, each, what are you most looking forward to getting into the game in 2021 that you can mention? Or that you can mention.
That's a high caveat there.
Well, if it's stuff that you want to share, please, by all means.
Go for it, Dave.
I mean, I'm not going to share the details of our upcoming plans for these cooperative things you might have mentioned, which I think actually will be pretty exciting to get into the game. But definitely being able to open up additional parties beyond 2 is the thing that I'm most interested in seeing.
Yeah.
3, maybe 4. Hopefully it doesn't bring the game down to its knees when you try to run all 4 at once. But yeah.
Justin, it'll run better than Cyberpunk 2077 on old consoles. Snap. Actually, maybe it won't. I shouldn't say that.
Do we want to talk about our track record for that, Justin?
No, I'm going to be posted on Age Like Milk. I think I'm most looking forward to. I'm always looking forward to new features that open up new systems. So I'm looking forward to fleshing out this thing that we're not really talking about, and and then really expanding upon the features. Like, I mean, players may not know this, but multi or Modron automation came as part of Modron, or not Modron. Modron automation came as part of Modron automation. It came as part of multiplayer mode, but it was it was a
Multi-party
secondary.
mode, Justin.
Huh?
Multi-party mode.
Multi-party mode?
You
Multi-party
said
mode.
multiplayer mode.
Oh, multiplayer mode. No, there's no multiplayer mode coming. Multi-party mode. um, we wanted to add some sort of new systems on top of multi-party mode. And so motor animation came out of that, and we really just kind of expanded upon it until it was, I think, one of the really fun things to do is, arrange your pipes and get that flow going. I know I spent a whole bunch of time there when I was supposed to be doing balance.
I may have spent some time doing that when I was supposed to be doing something else, but never mind that.
Yeah, if you're wondering why Delina isn't top DPS, it's because I was too busy rearranging my Modron cores.
Speaking of our wonderful pipe game, Cassius has a request for the potential of silver mojon chests that give out component pieces, so we can have more pieces without damaging the supply.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure that we'll do anything like that. I think it'd be cool to add, as we add more cores, obviously we'll want to make sure that the supply of components keeps up. So I could see us adding more ways to get more chests. And obviously if we have more patrons, that's also something that unlocks through the patrons. So yeah, we definitely want to make sure that the core, the component piece rate keeps up with demand. So
wonderful. We have some requests for if making it possible to get certain golden epics more easily, to get specific ones that someone may have missed other than wild offers, and if that's ever something that we're planning on, or
yeah.
No.
I think we are looking at the wild offer system. Actually, we're talking about not specifically this, but we were talking about the wild offer system a little bit the other day in a meeting, and I could see potentially expanding that a little bit to make it a little bit easier to find wild offers that you like or that are interesting to you. So that's potentially an avenue for that. I know in Crusaders, our other similar game, when we added challenge mode, which are different from the challenges in Idle Champions, but we had a challenge mode, and we had sort of a rotating selection of golden epics that were available through that store. So I could see us at some point down the road having golden epics be available for some sort of in-game system tied to some sort of system, but no specific plans for it at this point yet.
All right. But it is something that we're considering. We just don't have plans.
Yeah, hashtag no promises.
So Garwar has a question for Justin about your thoughts on multiplicative buffs that Krull and Freely have and their effect on balance, and if you could expand that at all, or
multiplicative buffs like Krull and Freely and their I don't have any specific thoughts on that right now.
All right.
I would have to look at that interaction specifically. If there's something funky going on there, and there's something that is causing the balance to be out of whack, then it's certainly something we can look at. But I would need more specifics on that, I think.
Right. And speaking of perhaps balance being out of whack, I will address the total in the room. And our troublesome trio of Krull and Averin and Zorbu. And are we planning on rebalancing them at any time soon? Are we planning on rebalancing some of our more underpowered champions as well? And do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh yeah. So my plan is when we do that big bench musical chairs thing, just gonna put them all in the same bench slot. That'll fix the problem, right? Right?
Thanks, Satan.
No, it's pronounced Santa.
Santa?
Santa.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, but more seriously, I don't have any plans to like do massive nerfs on them. I know that rumor kind of got around, but certainly we want to make sure that there are options in each bench slot. So I will continue to just buff Ashara more and more and more and more until people are like, oh, maybe I could use Ashara instead of Crawl.
She's pretty great.
Check the soft cap, see how Ashara did. I think players will find that she's doing quite well.
Mm-hmm. Fabulous. I mean, we were all about the Arakorka love, and thank you for addressing that rumor. It's sort of something that's grown, and would love to get that sorted right away. So, Mike Baldy has a question about Krell's Plague, Pain, and Pilfer upgrades, saying that they apply twice, and what's shown in the formation tab is often squared. And do we plan on addressing this, or?
Yeah, I mean, if there's something sort of funky going on there that feels a little bit buggy, then I think that's probably something we will address. So that's definitely something we should look at. I don't know if that's been reported in the bug tool and just not upvoted, or if we've just completely messed it up. To check in with Sean and see where that report is at, because I'm sure it's somewhere in the queue. It just hasn't gotten specifically up to me. So yeah, we can certainly take a look. If there's something applying twice that shouldn't be, then that sounds like a bug that maybe we should fix.
Apparently Sean knows about the Krell issue, so it's happening. Owen is asking how many Evergreen Champions are planned for 2021? They're guessing 3 or 4.
Yeah, I know there's at least one, because I know where they are. This is probably a better question actually if you ever have Dupuis on, because he's kind of the one who drives the live content servicing in that respect. So he'll just kind of come to me with a list of like, I need these 3 champions designed. I'll be like, all right, here you go. Here's some designs. So I do know there's one that's I think associated with the Descent campaign, and that one's going to come out pretty early-ish in the year.
Late Q1, early Q2 is what I've been given the okay to say.
And so I assume we probably have another one later in the year at least, but I honestly am not sure. So 1 to 2 or more.
Fair enough.
Hashtag no promises.
Hashtag no promises. So there's a request to being able to buy supply chests from the store, from the for gems. If that's something that we'd ever consider, or not in the moment. Consider it.
Yeah, it's something that we would consider.
Okay.
It's a tough one just because people really like the value of the supply chest is really quite high. Like people really like the contents of them, so it's easy to give them away as special occasions or stream rewards, or to sell them as bonuses and wild offers, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of like that they're a little bit special.
Gotcha. Gotta keep the lights on.
No, we don't sell them for real money, so
yeah, that's fair.
Except with DLC, so yeah.
Yeah, but they just keep them special, which is
that'd be my inclination, but
Very good. So I have an update from Sean for Mike that issue with Krell has been fixed and is waiting on rollout.
There we go.
There we go. Thank you, Sean.
Hashtag with Krell.
Sean is always watching. Because he is definitely distraught. Kuva Plan is asking if we can get 3 kobolds and a trench coat as a champion.
I don't think so.
No.
Maybe.
We're gonna have to pass on that one. Hashtag no promises.
Hashtag no promises.
Only Extra Life had happened.
What's extra life?
Oh, yeah, we were actually we were planning on one of the Extra Life segments that we were planning on doing for our 24 hours of streaming was a live champion design, and I was going to do a live design for 3 kobolds in a trench coat. Not necessarily promising that we'd ever actually make it, but I was going to do a design for it. And unfortunately, that segment shall never see the light of day.
Oh no, we'll have an opportunity. Well, you'll get to do that segment next year.
Next year.
At the latest next year.
All right, so maybe next year, 3 kobolds in a trench coat.
Fabulous. We also have a request from Real Bunny Beast to be able to break down potions into components and rebrew them. This is something we'd ever consider.
Sounds exciting. A little bit of alchemy, a little bit of potion design. Yeah, you can combine potions and get multiple effects on them.
That sounds dangerous but enjoyable.
Components and tests.
Grind up gems and then put gem dust into the potion and like buff up the effect.
Is this the new mini game instead of the pipe game? We have the potion game.
Oh, maybe it is now. I don't know.
I mean,
come
this
to
sounds
these
fun.
streams just to get good ideas. So thank you.
I feel like we could combine those two together, right? You know, actually you put the various reagents into the top, and then you actually have to combine them with the pipes to the output.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Depending on what bonuses you go through, actually determines what potion you end up with at the end of
Oh yeah, pipes for everything.
Pipes for everything.
Just take apart the whole formation part of the game. It's just purely pipe design now. Pipe Dream 2020.
2021.
Pipe Dream 2021. Wonderful. Oh, Master Burglar is asking if C&E will give us a karaoke stream before the end of 2020.
Margaret.
I think that's yes, absolutely. Hashtag I promise. Margaret and Sean doing karaoke. It's gonna happen, right?
It's not.
Oh,
It got canceled. And then the
Oh,
program goes away on January 1st.
You're patiently waiting for that for the time to run out on Twitch Sings, which they're canceling.
On January 1st.
No.
And I think I can speak for both Sean and myself saying we cannot stream tomorrow. We've got too much going on. We're sorry.
I think you made promises and you're letting everyone down, Margaret.
Mm-hmm. Hashtag you promised.
Hashtag the worst. Sean is going hashtag not sorry. We're having some requests for some Triton champions as well. I remember with Ashara's original bonding that was possibly an option, and if that's always sort of been something on our bucket list or...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think I can't remember if we actually designed a Triton champion or we just had this sort of outline for them. But there was one in the pipe at some point. Not sure what happened to it. I'll have to check with Dupuy and see if it got bumped from a CNA original or something like that. But maybe someday. In the future.
Soon.
We're going to be around for years and years and years, people. I mean, we got all sorts of time. 3 Tritons in a trench coat? Here we go.
There we go.
Do it.
Yeah.
A very big trench coat.
Someone here is saying hashtag Margaret is why we can't have nice things. I hope they're not referring to the karaoke, because
I think they are.
Yeah. No, that's actually...
Yeah.
That's someone else.
That's the plague's fault.
Yeah.
OG17 has a question about new blessings for Water Tier 4,
Yes.
for more tiers in Icewind Dale.
Yes.
Yes.
Blessings. Thank you for the reminder. Dupuy has sent me a spreadsheet full of the tier 5 blessings for all of the campaigns, and he's like, as soon as you get a chance to look at it, we'll start to work on them. So that one's a hashtag my bad. I will take a look at that, and hopefully early in Q1 in 2021 we'll provide a big blessings update.
Wonderful. So there's a request for 3 kobolds as a snowman. which sounds like a fabulous
an idea for
Yeah.
a champion that who knows if it would happen.
Wandering Bereft is wondering if there's anything that we will categorically deny.
Just anything across the board.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good opportunity for a joke. I wish I was more clever.
It seems like a
Dave?
good opportunity, but categorically deny that we'll ever categorically
Categorically
deny anything? I don't know. It's just
Wonderful.
Whoa,
embarrassing.
wait a sec. Breaking my brain there, Dave.
Giantdorf has a question that's part question, part request. The Modron Upgrade is of limited utility as the only four-way blue pipe has no flow directions, and there's a lot of pipes that you can't upgrade into. Is there a way to forge some of the more desired pipes?
Yeah. Nope. Nope. We
Okay.
kind of intended that those ones, it was very intentional that those really good pipes, the directed four-way epic ones, only come from the component chest, and you can't upgrade to them. It just adds a bunch of kind of randomness and excitement to that system when you get one that you need and you really want it. So it's very much intentional at this point. Not to say that we wouldn't, ever rethink that intention, but at this point, it's intentional that you can only get those ones out of epic chests and not upgrade to them.
Yeah, same with not being able to rotate the pipes.
Yes.
Okay, this is a bit of an odd request. They're asking for a Margaret finger puppet, or making our Evergreen Champions finger puppets, which would be... I don't think our license covers that, but that's a thing.
We certainly couldn't sell them, but we could certainly make some,
them.
and then for a stream, we could just have all
Just-
finger puppets.
So-
Actually, I don't even know where I am in the actual stream. I think I'm in the top left, so
Yes.
I can't try and put fingers onto anyone else's screen.
Oh, I think it's a good
Yeah.
idea. We should do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Sure.
like, no.
We'll just get like mini Sean, mini Dylan, and just like the entire Cine team as finger
Yeah.
puppets. Yeah.
And we can do our morning meetings that way. I mean, that's how Eric joined the other day, so it's sort of...
And then Mini
Yeah.
Shauna and Mini Margaret can do karaoke, mini karaoke.
Mini karaoke, of course.
They actually sell little microphones. I saw these when I was looking through them back. There's like they're little tiny things that are they're about this big. Literally, they look like a little, like your standard looking microphone, your stage microphone, but it's only about the size of like an inch tall.
Perfect.
So literally, that would be perfect.
So order a couple of those, and then you guys just have to sing in really high pitched voices.
We could speed it up and get that chipmunk sound going.
Freebird.
We could auto tune it too. It'd be great.
Freebird! Freebird!
This sounds like a plan.
There we go.
You know what Dave's doing over the Christmas break?
We'll save this for Extra Life 2021.
21.
Puppet karaoke.
Perfect. Puppet karaoke.
Okay.
Hashtag promises.
This is maybe it's partly a Justin question, but also probably a Chris question, but I'll ask you anyway. If now that Arl has opened the door between dimensions, are there any chance of more D&D crossovers?
We did what now? Man, I really got to play some of those later adventures.
Yeah, we had Satyrs and
Let me
the
just
snow.
take off my Justin hat. Put on my Chris hat.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes, I, Chris, promise that will happen. Yes, absolutely.
You don't sound anything like Chris.
No, I know. Anyway, I
Okay.
honestly have no idea. That's a great. We should get Chris on to one of these streams, and he can answer kind of those story-based questions, because he does a lot of the sort of story planning for the campaigns, and I just come in and go, no, that variant's too easy. No, that variant's too hard. So yeah,
I would love to have a stream with Chris, but we would probably spoil way too much.
You get
it's
6
true.
months worth of spoilers.
It's,
That's true. If you want actual 2021 spoilers, he is the guy to have on here.
2021 spoilers. All right, I'll try to convince him. So we're just about out of time. So that
Oh.
I know, but Bardic Inspiration's next.
Oh, well, that's going to be good.
Yes, Ed
That's going
Greenwood,
to be very, very good.
Song for Elminster.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
very excited.
Yeah,
Everyone should watch that.
everyone should definitely watch that.
Don't you go anywhere, people.
Don't you go anywhere. I will
Stay tuned for what's next.
stay tuned. Yes, for Bardic Inspiration with Jason Charles Miller, Dylan, and special guest Ed Greenwood writing a song for Elminster. And then at 6 p.m. we'll have Storyteller Mars Presents Twice in a Blue Moon, the live D&D game with some of the members of the Idle Champions community.
Oh, that's going to be awesome, too.
So that'll be super exciting. It's been a super fun
Don't go anywhere, people.
day of
Stay
streaming.
here all night.
Super fun day. Great way to end a year, as in, thank God, it's over. It's
Goodbye,
over.
2020.
It's
Why
over.
didn't we do this earlier? We could have ended this year, back in June. What were we thinking?
We would have waited until June to end it. Just say.
Did it halfway through. It could have gotten better, right?
Yeah.
Sure. It didn't. Anyway, that's our show for Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. Thank you for joining us today and participating in the Idle Champions and Dungeons and Dragons communities. You're all fantastic. Special thanks to our moderator and producers, Sasha and Jay today, as well as our executive producer, Dylan, for keeping us all in line. Special thanks to co-founders Dave and Justin for joining me on stream. And we are sort of shutting things down this week for I think I can say it's been a well-deserved holiday break, and we look forward to seeing you all in the new year. But of course, you'll see Dylan right about now. So I will turn it over to Dylan.
Bye.